Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today's guest is Dalia Kazoun. She saw a growing problem with abandoned pets in the UAE and decided to do something about it. Petooti makes adoption easier, fostering more common, and she's going to tell us all about exactly how it works. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
So for people who don't know, what is Petooti?
Well, Petooti started out as a rescue group, and it was me and a couple colleagues who shared the same morals and values on rescuing. And through our experience, we realized that there wasn't a platform for rescuers to actually put up, their animals, get them adopted. That was solely for pets, solely for rescue cats or dogs or any sort of animal. And so this was kind of a passion project for me. It basically, I wanted to service the community because I myself as a rescuer found it quite difficult to rehome the cats that I was rescuing. And so we essentially give those rescue animals a voice and hopefully a forever home.
Amazing. Yeah. Can we go right back? When and why did the Facebook group start?
The Petooti Facebook group? Let's see. Well, as an entity, we kind of started about 5-6 years ago, but we've all been rescuing as a group probably 13-14 years. One of us is about 30 years being in Dubai, so there was a lot of experience there. But it started because we all were rescuing individually, and we decided that we wanted to be kind of an organization of sort that people can come to, that was organized, process-driven, to build credibility, integrity, and just kind of be very, very transparent with everyone. We do know that, every animal that is adopted, we want to make sure that, you have this medical history for the animal, or at least know blood work, tests, et cetera, et cetera. And so we decided to start Petooti, start a process on adoption, on fostering is also very important for us and for the rescue community. But that's essentially how it started. We were all just rescuing individually, and we came together to kind of streamline a process.
So if someone that never fostered before and has no experience in fostering, are they welcome to foster from Petooti?
Oh, absolutely. It's the fostering journey is really, really important for any animal. It means it gets them either out of the clinic, out of boarding, out of a shelter. We have shelters not necessarily within Dubai for cats in particular, we do have for dogs, but across the UAE. And that kind of frees up space for them, but also for the individual rescuers that put in their time, money, effort. It helps them and it helps the cat. Number one, the human, you get to have a companion and kind of really see what it's like to adopt, but not really. It's still the responsibility of the rescuer. And it also helps the animal tremendously because they get to showcase their own personality and be comfortable, less stress. And that kind of helps us out to be transparent with the adopter and say, this is actually the personality of the cat that we're, presenting to you, or for rescuers to list those animals on the website. And so that's one of the things that we try to push for. So if you do go on Petooti, there are usually 2 buttons. If the animal's not already fostered, you can adopt, you can foster.
Let's talk a little bit like what is on Petooti that might be different to the Facebook group pages that have come together. What kind of services can you provide?
So Petooti is still in its infancy. One of the things that we really want to push and drive is education. Through our experience, we found that a lot of people don't understand things like relocation cost. What does that look like? Some people don't understand the concept of adopting an animal is like a family member. You don't want to let that go. And rehoming is difficult. So for us, education is one of the biggest things that we do want to push. In regards to, simple things like microchipping or, how to prepare for your cat or dog, or what are the UAE regulations on certain things. TNR, at the core of our rescue is TNR. It's a huge thing here. It would make a difference on the population, the overpopulation that we've got. And it is a sensitive topic to certain individuals, but we want to push that. We want to push, breeding, legal and illegal breeding. We want to eradicate that as well. But also in the future, we do have some additional plans to give back to the community. You will find on there, it's basically a listing. It is a self-service listing for rescuers and an adoption tool for adopters. And it allows, the unique thing about Petooti is we're not involved at all. It is rescuer to adopter. They have complete and utter control on selecting the animal that they want to adopt and they feel they're the best fit for. And the rescuer has control as well on, speaking to the individual, vetting, making sure that it's the right family for that animal.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first ever rescue story?
Oh my goodness, yes. Actually, it was a little tiny baby kitten, and I actually got involved because I had decided to take a break from work and took about a year off. And I ended up saying, I need to do something. Let me do something that's community-based, that someone really needs help. And I happened to be scrolling through Facebook, connected with someone within my community. And she was taking care of one cat at the time and was going on holiday, needed someone to continue to feed that cat. And so I got involved, and that turned into a little bit longer than her 2-week holiday, 6 weeks. And one of the days that we actually had rain, and at the time, it was a very long time ago, but it wasn't common to get so much rain. And I ended up seeing this group of children who they were standing around a palm tree and just crouched down. And I ended up going up to them going, what's going on? And it was a super tiny baby kitten, a month and a half, I think at the time, or 2 months. I named him Lucky because he was really lucky that people were around him and caught their attention and mine. And so I ended up having to learn through rescuing, met my colleagues in the community through there, and rehomed him and really understood what it means to rescue. It is not an easy task. And the rescuers, there are so many rescuers in the community that do so much more, and it's so impressive, really, really impressive.
You must come across some amazing individuals.
Oh my God.
Could you share some stories?
Yeah, absolutely. There are quite a handful of people, even more than a handful actually, that are very well versed, have been here in the country over 20 plus years and have been doing this and have pushed the envelope from all the way in the beginning to helping animals to today. Some people have more than 120 animals at home that they try to rescue and rehabilitate is a big one.
More than 120 in their home?
Much more than 120.
Our neighbor had like 40 cats.
Yeah.
40 cats.
Yeah, it's not.
And the house is designed for the cats.
Yeah. It's not uncommon. It really, what it boils down to is the accountability and responsibility to those animals. And a lot of these rescuers, and it's not just in Dubai, it's also Abu Dhabi and Fujairah, not to mention the shelters that are outside of Dubai and how much they actually take in and do. But the individual rescues are really the stories that inspire, that, you kind of look at what you're doing and you go, I need to be more kind and to help out. And that's one of the things that we do want to drive is kindness. You can do it whenever. It can be as small, as big as you want it to be. And it helps. Every little bit helps, whatever it is that you do.
So what would you say to people that want to get involved, that want to foster, but they might say that they don't have enough time, they're scared they might get too attached?
Look, fostering is not complicated. It's not complicated at all. And really, it's a matter of communicating with the actual rescuer. And a lot of rescuers make it really easy. So not talking about Petooti, the platform, but Petooti as a rescue group, we have kind of streamlined our process to the point where it's super simple. Paperwork is very limited. We make sure that we understand your situation, your experience, your lifestyle, and we will match you to the cat that will fit into your lifestyle. And I say cat because we mainly rescue cats. But at the end of the day, after that, it's you get a foster kit with us. We come to your home and drop off the cat. We explain what needs to happen. We make sure that we're there to support you throughout the whole fostering journey. And it is a super simple process. And like I said, not only services the animal, but it also services you to have a companion. We live in a transient city, and well, a lot of us don't have family here, right? So that rescue animal becomes a companion. It gives people a purpose as well, groundness at home, and we've seen some amazing people who have just stuck with us. We've had an 80% retention rate on our fostering because they can see the benefits to the animal, the whole process all the way through to adoption, but also they understand what that means for them during the time that they have them. So, yeah, it's really super simple.
You mentioned transparency.
Yes.
I have a friend who went down the foster route. She's an amazing foster mom. But they paid a certain fee. It wasn't extortionate, but it was for maybe the medical, whatever was needed. But maybe about a month later, she kind of messaged me in my capacity as someone in news, asking, do we know anything about this place? It looks shady. And then all of a sudden, the place that they fostered from seemed to disappear. So what are the signs of a shady adoption facility that we should kind of look out for?
I mean, one of the most important things that I tell people is to kind of do your research properly and ask whoever you speak to, ask many questions. What happens if the cat gets sick? Who is responsible for that? What do I need to do? Where do I hand back the cat? What vet clinic do you actually use? These are kind of the questions that we kind of go through with all of our fosterers. And I think, talking to that individual is really important, and actually understanding that, what is the plan for the animal. It unfortunately does happen in the UAE, and I think it's people that they try to help and they believe that they're helping, and but at the end, they're just not accountable. And it's one of the things that we try to push. There are so many individual rescues that rescue one that are great and they want to do the right thing, but there are fantastic organizations to go to that you can, that they're credible because they're on Facebook, they are on Instagram, or they're connected to this organization. And that's kind of sort of the vetting. There is a two-way vetting here. It's from the fosterer, but also from the adopter, which is one of the reasons from us, we personally call each and every individual, explain the situation in Dubai. We rescue in Dubai, but explain the situation in Dubai and the UAE, explain our plan, what we do, how we do it, what is the process and the steps that they can look forward to, and go from there.
And just on the two-way vetting, what is the criteria that you look for in people who want to foster? Essentially,
just to have people that are willing and able to take care of this animal and pay attention to the animal. We do ask questions like, how long are you out from the house per day? Because that makes a difference. If you're working 12 hours a day, it doesn't mean you can't foster. It just means maybe one cat is not for you, maybe two kittens. And we explain the reasons behind that. How big is your space, depending on the cat that we've got. Some cats are very active, need more space to roam and run and play. And some cats are okay because they've been in cages or they've been in catteries and they need, a studio could be a mansion for a kitten or for a cat that's been in a small space. We ask them a whole bunch of questions actually that's running through my mind right now. But essentially, we just want to make sure that they are responsible, they are accountable, they can take care of an animal. Do they have experience? Do they not have experience? Lifestyle is super important, and just a feeling of that they do really want this. And we've had some people who have, applied for the gram, and those are the type of people that we kind of, we understand, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a good home that they can settle in, and we can get the information we need and kind of close the loop, rescue, rehabilitate, rehome.
So what is a small thing that people can do to help a cat in need?
Oh, well, this is a huge topic, but look, I think if there is a stray out there, the first thing to do is to take it to the vet and get it checked out, get it neutered. It's really important to TNR in anywhere in the UAE. Many people do it. It sits at the core of our ethos, and it helps the cat. It helps the overpopulation, and the more that we can TNR, the more that it will reduce that population, and we'll start to see less cats eventually in the long term, and to see less cats on the street. But also, just getting that cat vet checked, neutered, and then, taking care of it by feeding it, going to feed. And one of the things that I did want to talk about is, feeding an animal is something that we all should do. Yeah. And leaving out water, as long as they are TNR'd, and even if they're not, it is kind, but you want to make sure that you TNR, because otherwise you're creating a breeding ground and it just becomes out of control. And most people get into a situation where they're feeding and it's just too many now that they can't continue and they can't do anything, and those cats suffer on the street. So really TNR is probably getting the cat vet checked or the animal vet checked, TNR'd, contacting, getting some guidance from any of the organizations. I don't know a rescuer that's not willing to give guidance and information on what you can do with a stray animal. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think TNR is the best thing to do here.
And just in terms of TNR, for people who are interested, do you go to any vet, or maybe on Petooti would you have a list of vets that maybe offer a discount, or how much would it cost the person? Like, what are the first steps to actually go about it? And is it okay, this is going to sound really maybe ignorant, like to just take a cat from the street and bring it into my car and bring it to the vet? Like, is that okay?
It is, yes, but it depends on the cat itself.
Yeah, what would you
right?
recommend?
So really, if you see a cat that is, simple and easy to pick up, you can pop it in a box with some holes or something. You've got a friend with you that can hold the box. That's perfect. But the reality is not all cats have the same behaviors and the same personalities, right? There are some that are suffering and in pain, and they need someone who can expertly trap them, ethically trap them. And we work with an individual that does do that, and we always recommend her. But also just to be mindful about that, and to make sure that we do have some vets that we work with really closely. And if you come on Petooti on the Instagram, even on Facebook, it doesn't have to be Petooti, it could be any of the other Facebook groups. If you just ask for, hey, a recommendation on good clinics, people will list out their experiences. Vets are experiences from each individual. I may say one, you may say another, because you've had that experience. But we have a few that we recommend and we work with because we've had experience with them and they've done really good work with us. We're quite over the top when it comes to our cats, so we really do the due diligence that we need to and find out the history of each cat. So we know which ones will have, charity rates, and which ones we can recommend. But we always try and contact other vets and try and see if we can build that network. But we do have some that we work with that we guide people to go to, yes.
So interesting and so inspiring. I'm sure people have questions. If they do, how can they reach you?
Oh, absolutely. You could reach us on Petooti.com and just fill out a contact form. Instagram is the easiest. Facebook is the easiest. It's Petooti.official on Instagram and Petooti on Facebook, and also Petooti.com. So any one of those, we will certainly respond within 24 hours. We are all there to support the community.
That is Dalia Kazoun, the founder of Petooti. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Masa.
Thank you, Casey.
And that brings us to the end of the Lovin Dubai show. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.